Hey, Search brothers and sisters, stick with me a couple of seconds and we will say goodbye to the last decade and hello to the new one. Join me.
Just trying to make a statement. Lift the weight on my shoulders. With the birds in the sky is where I'd like to be. Without gravity.
So, here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to play some music. We're going to play some New Year's music. And just kind of bring in the new year. I kind of felt like, normally each year since I moved to New Mexico, I'd go out to Route 66. There's a really nice club out there. But from where I'm living now, Route 66 is 50 miles away. And so I thought about that, and I called to get a hotel room because it's also a hotel, casino, etc., etc. And I called to get a hotel room, and they were sold out. And I thought to myself, driving back, I don't know, it's pretty close to 60 miles, actually. This wouldn't be a good time. So that left me a lot of free time to do a show tonight. And heck, it's New Year's Eve. We're saying goodbye to a decade, the 20 teens, and we're saying hello to a new decade. So the 2020s. Should be a lot of fun. And the treasure's still out there, brothers and sisters. So. Fireworks are cool. Here in New Mexico, we'll at midnight, we'll probably hear everybody shooting off their guns because that's what we do in New Mexico, for God's sakes. No, they've already started. Started what? They're starting early. So phone lines are open. You want to talk Fenn? I'll talk Fenn. You want to talk about the new decade? I'll talk the new decade. If you want to talk about, hell, anything, we'll talk about anything. Phone number is right there. Magical Treasure Princess is not with me tonight. She's with her loving husband and my good friend Kevin. So she may pop in. You never know with her. She might pop in to just say hi. You know, the part I miss the most is the dancing. I just love dancing. Patricia is in the house. Feliz Año Nuevo. Feliz Año Nuevo. Feliz y próspero Año Nuevo. May you have a happy and prosperous 2020. All of you, I had some thoughts. I was making my videos, my end of the month videos for the member vault today, and usually I pick a topic to talk about. And I realized that, here I am, New Year's Eve, the end of the decade, the beginning of a new one, and so I kind of focused on that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And Huli, I am drinking a Chinese liqueur. It's called Luzhou Lao Jiao, and it's been manufactured. It's from fermented sorghum, so it's got a bit of a sweet taste to it, but it's a liqueur rather than a liquor. I think. And it's been made in the same factory since 1573. That's how far back the factory goes. But that was a gift that I got from, that we got from Christy. She was out to visit one time, and she had made a trip to China, and they had given her a box of this. It comes in a very elegant red and gold box. And she gave us, I think she got one for herself too, but she gave us one. So it's I don't know, it's sweet, but not too sweet. Oh, there she is. So, K-Pro, they asked me what I was drinking, and it's that Luzhou Lao Xiao that you brought for Shelley and I. It's a sweet liqueur made from fermented sorghum in China, the same factory since 1573. And Christy brought that to us. So thank you, Christy. That was very kind and thoughtful. It's been about a year that you brought it, maybe longer. So it's been sitting in my liquor. I don't want to have a liquor cabinet. It's my pantry where I keep my wines and liquors. And so I thought it'd good night to open it. You know, Sassy's drinking. She says she's drinking Chinese too. Chinese hot tea. So, cheers to the New Year's, ladies and gentlemen. Phone lines are open, so if you want to call in, talk about anything. We're all kind of in the same thing here if we're watching this on New Year's Eve. But like I said, my normal place to go at New Year's Eve partying is now 60 miles away, and I didn't think that was a good idea without having a hotel room there, and I couldn't get a hotel room. So. Get off your seat, clap your hands to the beat, grab your champagne glass. So behind me is the countdown clock, and what they do is they count down every time zone. So the next time zone is Chicago, Mexico City, and then we come UTC 7, Universal Time 7, which is Calgary and Denver. We have 1 hour and 52 minutes and 15 seconds to our New Year. Can't you see? There won't be one more time, so we're gonna do this tonight. By the way, Huli, I noticed in somebody's room the other night, it was your birthday, so happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. And I think if it was December 30th, you have the same birthday as my eldest daughter, Sean. So happy birthday and Happy New Year's. Sassy's on Eastern time, so she's already celebrated it. Deep Brew is out. She's already celebrated her New Year, so it's already past them. Stacy, I would love to come and play this now. Yeah. Take me home, back to yesterday. With you, I wanna stay. Hold my heart, keep my love contained. I came so close to being there. My heart's all aching. Hey do, Brad and Sarah. Who's that young lady? Is that Swedish, right? For hello? Or is it goodbye? Hey do, I know what you're telling me though. And Happy New Year's to you and Sarah as well. I hope you have a very, very good 20 and prosperous 2020. Hey Greg, one of our member Vault members is in the room. Florida already celebrating their 2020. I think Huli's on vacation, right? Oh. There we go. Here's Sassy's calling in. Let's see what she has to say. Hey, Sassy. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
And how are you doing?
I'm just fine. That was quite the little fireworks display. I love Indiana. There are no restrictions on fireworks.
Oh,
After living my life in California and not even being able to have a sparkler,
it isn't that bad.
but these are good ones. These went up in the sky and
Yeah.
colors and yeah.
Yeah, well, nobody. The only
Oh.
problem with California is anything you light up is going to light up the surrounding forests because it's so dry.
Yeah, well, and the cops are on you like,
Yeah, yeah.
even people go down to Mexico every year and try and get fireworks and set them off, and they end up in jail.
No, that's actually what we used to do when I was little. My mother and father would drive down to Mexico for a weekend and come back with a bunch of liquor hidden under the back seat and a bunch of fireworks. So that's how we'd celebrate it.
Yeah.
The good old days, you know.
When I was a kid in Oregon, you could set them off, but you couldn't buy them anywhere.
Yeah.
But we were right across the river from Washington, and there was a huge fireworks factory.
Uh-huh.
So everybody would go over to Vancouver and get the fireworks and then bring them back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was fun. But this is we have a fireworks store 365 days a year here. So it's fun. I'm not going anywhere though because it's icy and snowy.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't make sense to put yourself at risk in the ice and snow. We're free of ice and snow, but as I said earlier, the place that I go to is now 60 miles away, and I thought, well, let me just. It's a casino hotel, Route 66, and they have a great nightclub, and so I'll usually go there. But it was easy to get home when I was living in Albuquerque. Now it's a 60-mile one-way trip. And I thought, well, let me get a hotel room. And of course, by the time I called, all the hotel rooms were taken. So
yeah.
Cheers. We're in
They
front of
probably
the
have an easy package that's been
in front of the
sold out
camera.
Well, I'm quite happy at my age to just sit home and listen to the
And watch it on TV.
and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happens
So, yeah.
is at midnight, I get a bunch of text messages from my daughters. At 10 o'clock my time, I get a bunch of text messages from my daughters on the East Coast wishing me a happy New Year. So that's all I need. I'm happy with that.
Well, I started out my evening deciding that I was going to sit down and solve the cipher that came in my Chaseopoly game.
Yeah, Mike put out another hint today. Something.
Yesterday, I had already gotten past that.
Oh,
point,
I see.
so
Okay.
When I first looked at it, I solved the first two sections like instantly.
Uh-huh.
But then it got complicated.
Well, Mike's
And
pretty
I
good
put
at
it
that.
away. Yeah. And then I put it away and I looked at it here and there and could it be this, that, and I didn't sit down and focus on it. And I did tonight. I pulled it out at 9 o'clock and I finished it by 9:30.
Oh, so you can go on to the second, right? There's another level coming. Is that right?
Yes, and it comes tomorrow, New Year's Day.
Oh,
So
nice.
I wanted to make sure that I got the second part over and done with. So
So
yeah, so that was fun.
one of the things I did in my New Year's recording to the member vault was I made a suggestion about goals that we should set for 2020. And the goal that I decided to set for myself for 2020 is to figure out nothing more than where warm waters halt. Right? If I can get,
Right.
I can get past that. So, have you set any goals for the Fenn Treasure Hunt for 2020? If so, what are they?
Yes, because in the last couple months, and most especially since some of the things have come out that Chrissy and Mike have released in the interviews, I have a little better idea of what I have missed in my area
Uh-huh.
and what be important in my area. And this last show that they did about things that could be in the chest. I especially enjoyed that because the look on Forrest's face when they're asking about, do you own the treasure if you find it? And he said, well, I give you title to the gold, made me think, oh, so we're only getting title to the gold and the rest has got some complications. And that made more sense to me because I've been, the whole, not the Antiquities Act, because that's a separate thing, but the antiquity laws have concerned me about some of the items that he has listed that are in the chest. And now, if that's the case, this kind of makes more sense to me. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident. And if I feel more confident, I do better work.
Yeah.
So, and I can have more focus. After 10 years, it's really hard to get super jacked up about this hunt because it's like, okay, having no confirmation over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's hard to maintain enthusiasm.
That's right. And I have those same ups and downs. I came back from our trip, our 2019 vacation trip, excited about 2019. But when we left the Rio de los Pinos the last time, there's nobody to drink with. In 2018, that was a down for me because I felt like I had spent a lot of time, money, and effort, and as a result, caused Shelley and Kevin to spend a lot of time, money, and effort in something that I just wasn't confident in. And that's how I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes about what I plan to do for 2020. That's going to help. One of the objectives, one of the goals is to kind of rebuild my confidence. Not that I ever lack confidence, but I think I need to rebuild it when it comes to this treasure. And so I've got a plan to do that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, rebuild your confidence in the work you've done so far.
Yeah. I don't necessarily believe I have to start from scratch. I just need to focus, and that's
right.
what and in a few minutes I'll explain that. So.
And pardon the pun, but find the nuggets in the work that you've done so far.
You know what? That's what it is, because I think when you put in as many hours, as much time as we and others have put into it, there's got to be some things that you have in your notes someplace that are worthwhile exploring further. There's other ways to look at this. So we're gonna do some of that.
Yeah, I feel better. Of course, solving the little puzzles on the side kind of keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
And exercises your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
And helps put you in a frame to do more work that may be a little bit more detailed.
Yeah.
And I love AJ's Priddle Mondays. Those are a wonderful exercise.
It really does some good work.
So,
We have a box of cookies, or a box. I know they're cookies because he sent some to Mike and Christy. We haven't opened them because each time we do a show, we forget, and they're sitting here. I'm hoping that tomorrow night's show, I'll remember to open them and have one of the cookies that he sent. That was very thoughtful of him.
Do you know what black and white cookies are from New York?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, they have a really interesting flavor. They're kind of like a sugar cookie, kind of like a shortbread type cookie,
mm-hmm.
and they're always coated half in black and half in white frosting. And they're really famous. I mean, people go there just to buy those cookies.
Oh, I had no idea.
They're really good. I was impressed. She did a good job with the recipe. Sweetie.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what he sent us?
Yeah, because I won one of his contests where he did a cipher puzzle thing,
Yeah.
and I solved it, so I won cookies. So he
all
sent
right.
me the cookies.
Oh, good. Well, I look forward to them. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm glad to see that so many of the usual suspects are in the chat room. It makes me feel like, gee, I'm not the only one that doesn't have a life.
So
It's wonderful to see so many friends.
the MTP is reminding me that she said she told me to open those cookies on the day they came, and I should have when she said it. I kind of put them, like I said, the boxes over here. And what was really funny,
They're supposed to be kind of soft, so.
what was really funny is
they're still soft.
when I took them out of the box, the post office box, they looked like that. They were kind of semi-open, and I wondered, well, maybe the postman got to them before I did. So
I hope not.
we'll open them up. We'll open them up tomorrow night. Celebrate them. I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds good. Well, that's about all I have to say.
Well,
I'm not real opinionated tonight. I'm in a good mood.
you know what? I think that's how we all are right now. We've got time to think about it. It's the middle of the winter. There's not a damn thing we can do about it anyway, short of pull a sternworm and head out into the boonies. But yeah, it's a good day to be in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm too old to. Stringworm's got balls to start with.
Yeah.
And he's young on top of it, so yeah. Oh, my son wants to do that. He's like, let me at it, you know. But I'm not spending $800 on a round trip ticket for him until I'm more pinpointed exactly where in that. I want him to just be able to go to it, not have to prowl around in the woods for 3 days, you know. So I want to have distinct points that I want him to go check. So
Yeah.
And right now I only have one, and I don't think it's right after some of the things that I've heard.
That you've heard recently on Christy and Mike's programming.
Well, not just Christy and Mike's. There's also the People magazine interview I've never read before, and I recently read that. And he's talking about placing the treasure, and he says, you know, who wants to go down the canyon, come back up, go back down, come back up. Going up and then coming back down and going up and coming back down. And I'm on the wrong side of the canyon.
Yeah.
You know? So things like that, you know, have kind of, you know, I need to relook at this stuff and see if there's a different approach that maybe falls in line better with the entire poem.
That's kind of my operating principle. It's 2020. It's not only a new year, it's a new decade. Maybe it's time to rethink this, you know, put some,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and you know, the interview's been out there and I've read bits and pieces of it before, but I wasn't, in a solving mind that when I read it, and I just completely missed it. And lately I've been doing some, you know, puzzles and little treasure hunts, and my mind's been more geared in that direction, and I picked up on it this time. So that kind of, you know, I've got to go back over my notes and rethink this. So that's where I am.
Well, I think we're in about the same spot then.
Yeah, us and probably thousands of others.
All right, ma'am. Well, thank you for calling in.
You're mighty welcome, and Happy New Year to you.
And to you as well.
And Happy New Year to everyone in the chat room.
Yeah.
And I hope 2020 is blessed for you all.
No, that's a good way to look at it. It's a new start, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Toby.
You take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Back to when we were young. For the animals we stand.
Oh. Thank you, John Lara, for your nice contribution. We appreciate it. Happy New Year's to you.
Savannah.
Magical Treasure Princess is in the room, I think. No sugar in 2020. Uh-oh. Well, maybe just a little bite. I'll take care of it for you. So yeah. So let me tell you what I thought about. So first of all, I wanted to mention that the last decade for me has been really good in terms of hitting my retirement and moving to Albuquerque, knowing that my kids are all in a good place in their lives, and I had the freedom to do that, and kind of easing into retirement with opportunities that came and didn't require the kind of effort that I was doing when I was in Washington. So it kind of eased me into retirement, and then finding a place with Shelley as my business partner here on YouTube. And so I've found a very, I'm going to be 71 in 17 days, and so I feel like I've eased into a very nice retirement, and it's the first time since the decade of the 60s that I haven't been in a place where people are shooting in my direction. So that made it a kind of cool decade in its own right. So, but I've really enjoyed it, and I thought about what I want out of 2020, and what I want is that the Fenn Treasure to be found, and I'm going to contribute as much to it. And you may have seen the set. The video that I put out on Monday, and that was put out for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm re-energizing myself to produce content because it forces me to do the research associated with that content. And so when I've got a deadline, a Monday 6 p.m. deadline to put out content, that means I can spend some time during the weekend doing the research necessary to produce that content. So that's why I'm doing that. They're going to be videos. They're not going to be live streams. That one was a live stream because, as I mentioned on the live stream, I got caught in traffic coming back from the VA hospital in Albuquerque. And so I didn't have a choice at that point in order to get it out, to get it recorded and processed and uploaded. It was just easier to live stream it. So it's a little bit rough around the edges. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to go into 2020, and I haven't spoken with Shelley about this yet because it just kind of hit me this evening. But I think I'm going to go into 2020, and I'm going to focus on a couple of things, and it's based on a couple of things that Fenn has said. Number one, he said that a couple of searchers figured out the first two clues and then didn't find the treasure for a variety of reasons, including they walked by the other 7. Then he also said that the little girl in India with a good map and the poem could figure out the first 2 clues. And so I'm going to dedicate between now and the end of the summer of 2020 to working on the first 2 clues, and that means figuring out where warm waters halt and what the canyon down thing is all about. And I'm just going to focus on that, just work on that until I've refined it, until I can pinpoint it on a map, just like the little girl in India, before I head out anywhere. And that's kind of my objective. And part of that will end up in some research that I will post on Mondays at 6 p.m. So you'll see more and more of that research. That's kind of my 2020 plan. And I want to make it through the 2020s, right? I felt like I was very fortunate not only to have made it to 2010, but to have made it through the 2010s. And now I can look forward to making it through the 2020s, and I'll be 80 on New Year's Eve 2029. So I feel like I could make it that far with the help of the Veterans Hospital and my friends, So that's where I'm at. Let's play some music. Phone lines are open if you feel like you want to call, talk about your 2010s, your 2020s, your plans, etc., etc. So.
Every fence I know, every color bleeds into the same. 'Cause before you go and walk away, yeah, you better know where you're going. You're a wanderer just like me.
Pocatello, Idaho. Happy New Year's. What's your name and what do you want to talk about?
Hey, Toby, this is Tony from Idaho Falls.
Hey, Tony, how are you doing? Nice to hear
I'm
from
doing
you.
Good.
Did you see how good that jewelry that you sent the Magical Treasure Princess looks on her?
Oh, yeah, it's been looking good.
Yeah, she's very good at that. I put it in the, I put them all except the opal in my, what do you call it?
Your cleaner.
ultrasonic cleaner, and they just
Yeah.
came out beautiful. So,
Yeah.
how's the weather? How's the weather up there?
Oh, we're getting snow.
Yeah.
It's cold. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna tell you there ain't no fish. Damn it. They're like, yeah, they're gonna
Hibernating.
close it down.
Yeah.
You never know though. I can give you a jingle at middle of April, and if they're there, I mean, you want to come and catch one.
You know what? That's all I would need to do. I would literally drive up there just to catch one of them to say that I did, because that's the only fish. Well, I shouldn't say the only fish that I haven't got. It's the only fish in the western, in the Rocky Mountain states that I haven't caught.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. Besides, it would give me an opportunity to buy a whole new rig, because nothing I have is going to be able to deal with them.
I got some old poles with my dad's that you could use.
Oh, good. That would be great. I'd like to do that. Listen, what advice do you have for that opal? I'm, of course, not going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, but I would like to clean it up. I polish the silver. What's a good way to clean up the opal without damaging it?
I don't think you want to do too much to that.
No, just let it, just a little wipe down every once in a while.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a beautiful stone. I don't know where you got it, but
it was. They're from Australia.
Yeah.
They're a triplet.
Yeah.
But it was hard to find a 3 match for earrings and a necklace.
Yeah. No, you did a great job, and she does wear them.
Turned out all right.
She does wear them. Unfortunately, she can't wear the earrings when she's got her headset on, but she has put them on other times when we've had a party or something like that. She looks good in them. Yeah,
I got a tie tack. If you'd start wearing a tie again, I would send you one.
You know what?
It is awesome. Beautiful green one.
I love wearing a suit and tie, and I do as often as I can. But now it was some business coach of Shelley's that saw one of our shows and said that I looked too uptight with a tie on. But if you send me a tie tack, I will wear it at the first opportunity the next time I wear a suit. So or
wear it on one time just to show.
Just to show it off. Yeah, I'd be willing to do that.
It's a good one. It's green.
And there's not a lot of jewelry. The only jewelry I've ever been able to wear is when I was married. Of course, I'd wear a wedding ring, and I wear my watches. I like watches because they're I can call them jewelry, but I can make lots of choices with them. So,
that's really crazy because I never was into wearing jewelry, but I love to make it.
Mm-hmm. So, did you cut the other stones, the ruby and the?
No, they were ordered online.
Oh, okay.
That ruby's a synthetic. It'll test out the same, but
and you mounted it
lab grown.
No, it's amazing how far the synthetics have come in the past decade. Speaking of decades, because I used to get
a beautiful stone too.
Yeah. Oh no, it's got a lot of sparkle inside. It's got a lot of fire inside. So I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, I got 40 or 50 of them that I still got made up. That's just sitting in boxes. I mean, it was fun at that time. It's probably 30 years ago.
Well, if you have any pieces made up, we should talk because I've got 4 daughters that all have birthdays and Christmases and other days that I have to buy presents for, and they've always loved getting jewelry from me. I've given them jewelry all of their lives and a lot of great pieces. So we should talk sometime and see what you've got, and I might be able to buy some from you.
Well, that or I can just turn them on to you.
Your work is worth something, so I'd be happy to pay for it. So.
A handshake would be great.
All right. Well, I've got let's see, when's the next daughter's birthday? So I had one that I've already given her a present, December 30th. The next one is February 2nd. Toby Renee, the youngest daughter, is February 2nd. So let's see if we can do a deal for that one.
Amethyst or something.
Yeah, an amethyst. She likes amethyst. Or you know what? Although it's not her stone, years and years ago, I bought her. Not years and years ago, but several years ago, I bought her peridot, a ring in peridot, and it was that beautiful light olive color. I've always loved those color, that particular color of green. But yeah, she's an amethyst baby. Yeah.
Yeah, on your sand show, that it was that green was reminding me of Moldavite.
You know what? That's the that olivine that we showed from the last one from the Hawaiian. It does look like that. And I found out. I thought it was chromium that gave it the color. And then one of my viewers, William Hayda, thought it was nickel, but I read in one of my rock hounding books that it's actually magnesium that gives it the green color.
There you go.
So, but it's a beautiful color, and
I think the chromium's like the rubies and
yeah. So, but I got a couple of years ago, I bought a ring from the St. Helena lava for Shelley. That's got that dark green, not quite emerald, but a dark green color that reminds me of. Yeah. But it's too bad, I look at those little tiny grains of sand, and when you look at them under the microscope here, they look big enough so you could actually make a stone out of them, a cut stone out of them. And of course you can't because they're tiny grains of sand, but they're just beautiful. I uploaded some other photos to that that I shot under the polarizing microscope to the last two albums. So go take a look. Some of them are really, really good.
So did you take any pictures of the flies?
I did. There's a whole collection. Actually, I've done probably 14 of them. I went and bought a light box for them because I didn't have a good one. So I bought a light box, and I have a collection of 14 of them now. And let me see. They're not on this computer. They're on my photo computer. So I'll share them with you. I'll share. You know what? I'll make an album out of them and share the album with you.
Cool.
But they were beautiful. They came out just like I was happy. I was looking forward to them coming out like I wanted, and they did.
Well, you got my email, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, send me maybe a color of what you'd like to have the girls have, and maybe I can pick something out and send it to you.
Well, if you've got an amethyst, an amethyst, that would be perfect for her.
I got a great big one. It's probably oversized for a little girl, but
well, she's not a little girl.
I don't
she's
think
gonna
I could just give that away.
Yeah. I don't want you to do anything that you feel like you want to keep. She's 31. She's not a little girl. I say she's my.
I see. Yeah.
She's my baby, but she's 31 now. So yeah, she's the youngest.
This one's a real nice one.
Well, maybe you want to sell it to me.
Yeah, that'd be possible. It was my wife's. I made it a long time ago.
Well, do me a favor. You have my email. You have my email address.
Send me a picture of it.
Yeah, take a picture
of it and send it.
Yeah,
it's done in gold, though. I mean, it's a real nice one.
Well, you send it to me, and then let's work out a price.
Well, I could probably do that.
A pendant.
Trust you.
A pendant.
Pardon?
It's a pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice one done in like 18 karat. And
yeah.
Nice, beautiful stone.
How many carats is a stone? Do you think?
Amethyst.
Ooh, a deep purple. That's a beautiful color for amethyst.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful necklace.
Yeah. So send me a picture and let's work out a price.
We can do that.
I'd be happy to pay it.
All right. Well, hey Toby, you have a happy New Year. 2020 is going to be good vision. We'll find that chest.
That's what I figure. 2020.
Hopefully me.
I'm at the stage where I don't care who it is as long as it's found.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do as much as I can to share as much information I can to give everybody. Half of them will ignore me anyway. But I'm going to see if I can help get that treasure chest found, even if it's not me.
I did get some sand, but I didn't take pictures. Do you still want it?
Well, it's important to get the pictures, but if you can give me a rough idea where the area is, I can always get the pictures off Google Earth, which is what I've done with a couple of others. We just did, when we did that sand, the recent Hawaii green beach green beach sand, I just took the pictures from Google Earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can do it. Go ahead and send it to me. Just give me a rough idea and where you got it from, and then I can take it from there.
Okay, well, I'll let you go, Tobe.
All right, sir. You have a good evening.
Hey, you do the same.
Thanks. And I look forward to send me the picture of that amethyst for my daughter.
All right.
All right.
See you, bye.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. So, K-Pro, I can't predict one way or the other whether it's going to be a good person or not. I have a sense that there's something karmic involved, and the karma is that I believe the person that finds the treasure will have deserved to find the treasure. Kind of like a lucky prince with a Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty or something. Is the magical treasure princess still in the room, or did she have to get to bed? It was past her bedtime, so I'm sure she's gone. I don't see her. Remember, if you're going to ask me a question in the text room, to precede it with @Gypsy Kiss, so it'll highlight it, and I know that you're asking a question. So I won't ignore it. Oh, there she is. What a magical treasure. Hey, there's Davio. Let's talk to her. Hey, Davio, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Okay, let me turn my audio down a little bit. Okay, Happy New Year. How are you doing?
You just be electronic jamming, man.
Yeah,
I dig it.
we are jamming tonight.
Get
Yeah.
some-
It is, because I always remember. You know what this music reminds me of? You know what this kind of
What?
music reminds me of? This kind.
What?
Drunk white girls dancing and not spilling their drinks. I don't know how they do that.
Oh my God! Most of my early life, from when I was 17 to
Yeah.
28, I was a disc jockey.
Yeah.
Through the 70s and 80s. So yes, I can dig the wobble dance. Don't smell it.
Yeah.
I can dig it. So Toby, you've got me ever so curious. You said that you're going to change up your what, concept, your theory on how you're searching. What's your
No.
Are you
So
gonna be less physical or more metaphysical, more what?
So I made myself a promise. Let me just say something. MTP, thank you. I got that. The new videos are putting them in a row. Thank you. So I don't know. I don't know if it's actually a change in methodology or strategy or anything like that. It's based on those two statements that we've heard Fenn make. One is that some searchers have found the first two clues and then walked past the others, and that the little girl in India, could figure out the first two clues with a map and a poem. And so this week, that was kind of on my head. That was kind of settling on me. I wondered, well, if people could have done that, and if she could do that, why can't I do that? And so what I'm going to focus on is I'm going to focus on doing that by summer of 2020. I'm going to focus on locking down, and I mean locking down in a non-arguable way by my teammates, the first two clues, and then going out and actually exploring those, and maybe finding the third clue when I do. But I still believe that it's going to take more than one trip to the area to actually find the treasure. And I think that you have to explore that area once you get there. But until I've locked down those two things, then it's not worth leaving. Not that you have to play canasta, but I don't think it's worth spending time and money to do that.
Yeah.
So
don't get in the car until you've got a solid starting point. Right?
Exactly. And that's kind of where I am with all this.
Yeah. Yeah, I can completely relate. So you feel like you're confident in that, or is that what you are searching for in the warm water halts? That being the first clue.
I'm convinced that that's the first clue. I'm very confident that that's the first clue, and that's what I have to figure out. And I have, for years I've worked with the warm waters from the state of New Mexico, and so half my time will be invested in locking down one of those. And then looking
for more of a. So that's where I was headed. Is you're headed for a less metaphorical, and you're sticking with the physical. In other words, you're saying warm water halts is a physical thing. You're going with that. That's what you're hanging with, right?
So I feel yes, and here's why.
Okay.
If the little girl in India
totally.
can figure out, if the little girl in India using a map in the poem can figure out the first two clues, then warm waters halt has to be something physical and not metaphysical. Because she's got.
It must be a hard start point. It's got to be like a flag in the ground, a hard start.
Effectively, yes. And the second reason is, if you don't have a hard start point, then you end up wandering around the forest a lot.
Wandering around the entire Rocky.
Yeah.
And Forrest being the metaphorical Forrest brain.
Yeah,
I can fully relate. So to me, that means it's about research. It's about finding a thing in, let's say Wikipedia as a dictionary phrase. That somewhere within a dictionary or Wikipedia is going to be the information that it'll give you to a start point, which you can then physically go to. Because that would encompass everything about the girl from India. Because he said that she could find the start point, but she could never find it. In other words, he also referred to that you have to physically be in the right place to figure it out. There will be ties, things you will recognize. When the blaze look down, is an assumption you will find the treasure, but it's probably more likely it's going to be an acknowledgement of a chapter in the book or of a visual reference, perhaps.
Well, except that the little in India didn't have the thrill of the chase. She had the poem and a map.
She had the poem.
Yeah.
Poem and a map, and figure it out. Look, but doesn't that leave all kinds of room for it still doesn't limit her to, all of the internet as a reference of information.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, the problem is we don't know that when he made that statement, what he was describing in terms of other resources, right? Did she have an internet access?
True.
Could she go to Wikipedia? The question, what he said was she has the poem and a good map. And she could figure out, she could solve the first two clues, but couldn't get any closer because she couldn't put boots on the ground. Well, if an imaginary little girl in India could do that, one has to question, why can't a guy who's been around for 71 years, has access to the internet and good maps. Why can't I do that?
Right. Fully agree.
Right?
That's
So-
the same premise that I've been operating on. It
Yeah.
has to be. There must be something. So what I took is this is my take on it, Toby.
All right.
You know, I jumped into this years ago, and I always assumed that it was going to be found every year, and I felt there was a mass urgency, and so I felt like I had to hurry, especially when there was that, somebody's been close or whatever. That happened 2 years ago. Someone's been close, or so like, oh my God, I thought someone's been in my spot. So, anyways, I guess what I'm getting at here is that this has got to be trickier and harder than one thinks because of how long it's gone on. And I always have taken the view that this is a man who doesn't really want it found because he wants people to keep searching. He wants the people to keep thinking about it and making it a question, making it it's a topic, it's relevant. That's what I see. As long as it's not been found, then it's this very relevant, topical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard as hell to find. There's got to be simple. It's got to be complex for a fourth grader, but no more. That's kind of what I see it as. I see it as kind of like, fourth grade simple. Has been my take on this, and I see parodies in all kinds of ways. The key word I found to be extremely important, but I don't know. I guess I'm I don't know what the words are I'm looking for here. I'm wanting to share so much, and I just can't. No, and nor would we expect you to. We've got to keep those things. I think we take a different approach, so we don't have a problem sharing anything that we find out. But Shelley just found the quote from Mysterious Writings. The question was, can a little girl in India who speaks good English, okay, I can speak good English, but only has your poem and a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains, work out where the treasure is? And that's when he responded. Right. Answer is
she can figure out the first two clues, but no more. So.
And the paper saying that fifth grader is good, it rocks at giving good answers.
No, is that deep pro? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I see this as a really important thing to keep going. It's a relevant and viable tool to teach imagination, creativity. It's just been, it's just brilliant. So and I see the vehicle in which he has been using this through all these different points. And I can't share it on air. It's just too many people. It's just I feel like it's just giving too much away. But
and that's okay.
I think it's brilliant.
And his response was,
I shared it with K-Pro, and by the way, her response was, "Oh my God, that's too complicated." I fully agree.
So Shelley wrote the response. Fenn's response to the question was, "The little girl in India cannot get closer than the first two clues."
Ah, there you go. That's interesting, isn't it?
So
what are those first two clues about? So that's about research, right?
Well, it's about research, but he makes an interesting statement because the question involved a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, are you aware of the existence of a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains, independent of all the other things? Have you ever seen a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains?
Well, through the legends of Google Maps, you can kind of just create an only from 5,000 feet up highlight. So
Agreed.
To that degree.
She's the little girl in India. She has
she's
the
got
poem.
access to better internet than I did in Nevada City.
Well, she's got access to finding maps of the Rocky Mountains because I've never seen the only map of the Rocky Mountains. Oh, here's something interesting. When did he? Shelley or Lisa, when was that mysterious writing quote written? If you guys can come up with that.
Yeah, wasn't that like in...
I thought it was
before... It was like 2013, 14 maybe?
I think it was. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the only map of the Rocky Mountains that I've ever seen is his map, the one that's in the back of Too Far to Walk, and the larger one that I have on my wall. So I have I bought one of the early full-size benchmark versions of it. So did that question come before or after 2013?
Thus the least reference to that book. That's interesting, huh?
Denise, there's nothing wrong with making up a fictitious character by anyone if it's necessary to
Especially
answer
a
a
writer.
question. Right. Denise Bagley is saying, Forrest makes it a point to affirm that the little girl from India is a fictitious character. Well, if what you're trying to do is create a hypothetical situation, there's nothing wrong with creating a hypothetical character to create the situation.
True.
Right. So I don't think the fact that it was fictitious
Right.
eliminates it.
Well, that Toby, you brought up an interesting thing. I mean, was she creating a metaphor?
Here,
Wow.
so
I mean, maybe we're overlooking it. So perhaps in just the statement of the little girl in India, it itself is a story of a metaphor, thus hinting about metaphorical suggestions as opposed to physical.
okay, here's
I
something to
love
think
this type
about.
of
Here's something to
Yeah,
think about.
Yeah.
The question was asked in Mysterious Writings in 2016, which was 3 years after he published the map of the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
That's the only map of the Rocky Mountains I've ever seen.
But there are in existence, and
Well, you can do
it's
a
possible.
Google search of Rocky Mountains, and you'll
Right,
come up
exactly.
with various kinds of maps, but they're not detailed maps. You then have to work out from there exactly, what they tell you what the Rocky Mountains are. They aren't maps of the Rocky Mountains per se. To the best of my knowledge, a map, a folding map of the Rocky Mountains doesn't exist. I'm going to search right now.
You know what this story reminds me of very much for Toby is, me and this mouse and me and my mouse in my pocket.
Yeah,
Know everything.
us.
Ask me any question. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't know that one. The mouse does.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't speak mouse? Well, he's telling you the truth. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, it seems it's like it's that kind of story. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just to get you thinking. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's so much other information out there. The book is so vast in its information, that I didn't need to get too distracted on all these other little things like that. It either reinforced where I was going or it was taking away. So I don't know. It just seemed distracting. But I love seeing Forrest talk.
So the only map, if you do a search on a map of the Rocky Mountains, you get a map of the Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. There is.
Well, that's interesting.
His is the only map of the Rocky Mountains.
That's very interesting, huh?
Let's see. Yeah.
What time is it? Oh, it's going to be, is it midnight for you right now?
No. We're coming up at 11 o'clock Mountain Time.
Okay, that's roger that. Me too. Just making sure I'm not missing anything here.
All right, so you can see behind me.
Here, huh?
That's a very small map of the Rocky Mountains behind me.
Okay, got it.
But there's no
That's good.
detail in it.
No.
So is that what she's got? Black Red, Sacramento? I'll have to order that just for the hell of it.
My thought was that this is going to be more metaphorical. In other words, where warm water halts is where cool water begins. And then it takes me down a road of like Hopalong and Cassidy and Roy Rogers and stuff like that. And from that direction, I have gotten a lot of information and I've rolled with it. So that's been my take on it, because I kind of figured all the other ideas were played out. You know what I mean? The trying to figure out where a physical warm water halt kind of thing would be something that the guys at Google would set up a search engine for.
Kristen L. says she has a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains from National Geographic. Let me see.
Oh, sweet.
Let me see what we got there. Hang on. I'll bring this back over here so you don't hide my 2020 thing.
I also think it's a lot trickier and takes you down a longer path or a deeper rabbit hole.
Yeah.
If you go a metaphorical route, I mean, it's definitely not seemingly straightforward unless there was a key word to kind of like drag you through a concepts as you go, right? That seemed to be a
National
that seemed to be a way I could go farther. I don't know. And I think there's some people that have found that work to work.
I found a National Geographic map of it's all Rocky Mountain National Park. It is in the Rocky Mountains, so I'll have to do a little bit more research. All right, Kristen, I will take you up on that and see if I can find it. Or if you know where I can find it, just Kristen, send an email to gypsykiss@gmail.com.
It's got a map.
Yeah, she says she's got a map of the Rocky Mountains, National Geographic map. Lisa says she bets USGS has one, but I haven't found it. Sassy says maps. We don't need those.
Tony Russi says, "I wonder what map Fenn used, for the Rocky Mountains when it was, 1942." I think he's onto something.
Yeah.
From the video that you put up, Toby, and the one that I put up, from those two, I was able to extrapolate and with a little bit of research, figured out he worked for the Tree Army during that summer, where he was, he was like a Forest Service kind of work back in the Depression when he was 16. So that's 46, right? And that's when that started. So right around there is where I think he found this place. Is that period of time?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was up in Montana, Wyoming, and in that area where it's lots of BLM land, lots of trees. I don't know. It just seemed to really fit. So that's where I've been looking, especially after seeing that video from the Cody.
Yeah.
That really,
museum. That was a great video, by the way. Did a great job on that. Great find. Great find.
Called the lady up and figured that they would have that, and you can go there and get a copy yourself. By the way, if
you know what, I went and when we went, I decided not to go through the trouble because you already have it.
There you go. Thank you very much. Wonderful research library, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's not just
freaking
wonderful. It's
amazing, beautiful, wonderful, and super nice people.
They're
really helping out with all kinds of questions.
There is a lot of rich backers behind that museum.
Forrest being one of them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it costs to get Sharp's freaking cabin out there? Or Remington's office?
Yeah.
I mean, did you see Remington's studio? I sat there with my mouth agape going, you're kidding me.
Well,
this is where Remington had horses stand? Oh my, it's just jaw-dropping.
I went through them, but I spent a lot of time in the weapons department, in the guns.
Yeah.
Because I thought to myself, if you ever wanted to do research on anything related to weaponry, that's where you'd go do the research, because they have everything.
Start there.
It has probably the best collection that I've seen since the collection I saw at the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian doesn't have as much displayed. So wait a minute, hang on just a sec. Joe Treasure Hunter says, Toby, I will take you to the chest. You'll be able to see it, touch it. You can't lift it or open it, and you could never tell anyone where it is. And we're talking legal paperwork getting signed. Joe Treasure Hunter, if you're that close to it, just do us all a favor and go recover it. I don't have to be part of that.
Go get it, take pictures.
Yeah, go get it, take pictures.
What? So here's an idea. If the person who finds it, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think people would pay to go for that walk? Invincible. You walk. You take the person.
You mean a guided tour? A guided tour of the clues, kind of thing.
Yeah, it takes you through it. Yeah. You start here, we go here, and then we walk down this path, we go here, and this is where I found it, and this is why. Yeah. This is the answers or clues that you physically see as you look around, bang, bang, bang. Wow, what do you think people would pay for that?
I think they would. I think you put the risk, as always, is people claiming, well, this is where I said it was, so I deserve part of it, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I think people would pay for a tour of the clues, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, what if that was the winning prize for, because I know right now some schools are using the book as a a tool, as
Yeah.
a curriculum, as
Yeah.
a project, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if that's many schools do that, and you use that as the prize. Whoever gets the closest to configuring X amount of power tile, they get, you go for, money is donated for nothing. They get to come and leave whatever state they're in and come to, start in New Mexico, end up in Colorado, and then wherever the treasure is, Wyoming, Montana. That would be freaking awesome. I think that'd be a great, a motivator for other classes and stuff like that.
Well,
I think Fenn would love that.
There are always lessons to be learned from reviewing the old great treasure hunts and finds, right?
Yeah,
and
especially this one that's so cerebral.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a real brainiac kind of thing. I mean, because it's taken so
I
long
agree,
for
Sassy.
this to be
Yeah.
found. I believe this is more complex than people realize.
Yeah.
But not complex like
No.
not
Nobody's.
binary, but like
I don't
fourth
think.
grade complex.
I don't think anybody is. After 10 years of hundreds, thousands of people looking at this, I don't think anybody is underestimating the complexity. Right. I don't think.
That's very good. That's good news. That's good news. That is very good news. I mean, perhaps that's the eye we have to look at this with. Is more of an openness, more about, well, maybe it's what if more possibilities instead of richness is how I've been approaching this. That's been kind of my spew lately. It's more inclusive concepts as opposed to, well, it couldn't be this because of that. Well, we don't know, but it, maybe should be the word of the day.
Right.
I mean, if nothing else, that's a good club to be in.
Yeah, I agree. All right, sir.
Right.
Let me take some more calls here, and let's see what other people have to say about this.
Absolutely. Hey, love you, Toby. Love Princess Treasure Hunt, and your son and everybody that we get to see on YouTube. So and love to the room. Okay, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. So, Joe, my only concern with your idea is that because of the number of chests that the gentleman that was manufacturing chests has sold, I would have to see the contents. Otherwise, to me, it would simply be one of those chests, because showing me one of those chests without showing me the contents wouldn't convince me any further. So I need to see what's inside, brother. Hey, Happy New Year. What's your name? And, you're calling from New Mexico, obviously, but...
This is Joe Treasure Hunter.
Hey, Joe Treasure Hunter. What's up? So you're going to show the box, but not the contents.
It's a little complicated. Okay?
Well, of course it's complicated. If it wasn't complicated, it would have been recovered and announced already.
There's only room for one person. And there's a reason why it can't be moved to rope.
Oh.
I have had my hands on it. It was June 12th, 2018.
Tell me this. Is the Blaze a solar event?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it is not.
So you had your hands on the treasure in
Yes,
2018.
but I knew not to open it. Okay?
Why did you not open it? For what reason?
I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to go into that. But I will, if you're willing. I'm right here in Albuquerque. As a matter of fact, when you went to the doctor, you were within 2 blocks of me.
Oh, at the VA hospital?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
All we got to do is, I know you got a car, bring your camera equipment, you document it if you want to, but the agreement, a gag order is a gag order. It stays between you and me. Once you see it and realize that this is real, this is not everything that I've been putting online, I'll be honest. It was deliberate. Period. It was absolutely deliberate. Because in my mind, what I wanted to do was be the village idiot. I wanted to prove a point. If enough people sit there and denied and made me that village idiot, then how can you carry me to court if everybody thinks I've lost my mind? I was using that angle deliberately. And I'm done. It's been over a year now. And there's a lot of complications to it. You have a particular background that will be useful. And after you know that you're going to be loud.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. You can choose to answer them or not. I know I have a personal friend, but doesn't live here, that lives in another state, that believes that the treasure is in Colorado, and that he has seen it and left it in its location. He has seen the treasure. So is your treasure in Colorado?
Absolutely not. But
so explain to me then.
Document this. You have all the equipment to document it.
I agree. That is absolutely true. I do. But explain to me why I have two different people telling me that they've seen the treasure in two different locations.
Well, have you got two different people telling you that they'll take you right to it and show it to you?
Well, in a way, yes, but... all right, I will take you up on your offer. You take me to... I'll take my equipment.
Okay, good. Let's talk personally.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got my phone number.
I do.
You call me. We'll set everything up.
Well, we're not going over the winter, are
we? You can choose when you want. It doesn't matter. Whenever you're ready, we'll just go. I'll leave that up to you. You think I'm pulling your leg, and I'm not?
No. I have to. I have to judge. I get a lot of offers, right? People wanting to share their locations, their theories. No one has ever said, "I know where the treasure." Well, a lot of people have said, "I know where the treasure is, and if you go with me, I'll split it with you, etc., etc."
Well,
I understand you're not saying that. You're just saying
if you want to take the heat. If you want to take all the heat on everything, we can make an agreement later. But my agreement now is that you can document it, but you got to keep it all to yourself, and you're going to have to sit there on that show for a year, just like I've sat here for over a year and watched your show and listened to everything everybody said.
So I have to agree to document the existence of this treasure in its location without opening the box and holding that information how long?
We can negotiate that. But I did it for over a year. I mean, to know this information, I have to sit there and watch.
And you're gonna tell me, and you're telling me that I can document the box, but I can't document the existence of the treasure inside the box. Is that correct?
There's a complication.
Well, okay. Explain to me the complication.
Forrest knows what that complication is.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't help me. If you know what it is, and Forrest knows what it is, it doesn't help me. I need to know what it is.
We'll have to talk about that privately.
All right. I will give you a call sometime after the holidays have kind of settled down.
Anytime you're ready.
All right.
All right. You have a good one.
You take
Happy
care.
New Year.
Yeah. Thank you. You too. Sassy. Love you. Thank you. Did I do housekeeping? I think I even missed housekeeping. It's too late. Is anybody there? The last 3 or 20 minutes. You guys are a riot. You guys are a riot.
Calling out payday.
The last rooster of 2019. I don't know, guys. Last rooster of 2019. Huh? Sounds pretty serious to me. It's only going to take me out there.
Hear their song. They're coming closer, talking without
By the way, Christy, I don't know if you saved one of these bottles for yourself, but is that my New Year's resolution? That deserves a rooster vid. Miss Lisa, yeah, you guys are giving me a hard time here. Christy, if you can get your hands in another one of these bottles, I strongly recommend it. It's really good. It's very different. I'm not sure. I thought it was going to taste like rice wine, but then when I read about it, it turns out that it's made from the fermented sorghum. So it's got a kind of sweet taste to it. I don't know what sorghum is, actually. If anybody can tell me what sorghum is. Fermented sorghum, and it's got a very kind of nice flavor to it. It goes down very smoothly. So that's a Luzhou Laojiao. Luzhou Laojiao is a Chinese name. Been fermented, made in the same factory since 1573. Huh? How cool is that? Pick back up. All right. For you guys, I'm gonna play the rooster video, but I'm not gonna do it. This is just did Toby just lift? No, I didn't just. No, Luzhou. No, that's the Chinese name. Luzhou Laojiao is the Chinese name for it. All right. Here's the last rooster video for 2000 and for this decade, for the 2000 and teens. Let's do a rooster video. I have the music on the same channel, so I can't play it without playing the music. Let's dance. I love dancing to this music. This is my favorite kind of music to dance to. I know I'm an old guy, but I can still rock it when I eat you. Where's the magical treasure princess? Shalivas? Colorado, I might need a chaperone. I agree. I may leave it. So it looks like Joe Treasure Hunter's looking for some other folks to work this out with. So he lives here in Albuquerque. We can meet up. I do not like young drunk girls. I like dancing. Yeah, her little Fitbit watch goes off at 10:30 saying it's time for the magical treasure princess to get to bed, and she's pretty good at that. So yeah, drunk white girls are funny because they can walk up, they'll take your tie and mess up your tie, you know, and they'll give you that look, and then they'll walk out on the dance floor and just dance with their drink. They're funny. Actually, Latino girls around here are kind of the same way. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Toby, how are you?
Very good, thank you. And you?
I'm doing well.
Happy New Year's to you and Sarah.
Happy New Year's to you and your family.
Thank you. That's very kind. How's the weather up there in Colorado?
It's been pretty chilly. It was about 10 below this morning. Snow on the ground is probably right around 0 right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty chilly.
But did the snow stop? I noticed that they were getting you were getting some weather over the weekend, right?
Yeah, this last weekend we probably got about 8 inches or so.
Yeah,
wasn't horrible.
Yeah,
we spent the Christmas holidays in Amarillo with family and came back and had to shovel our way into the house, but not too bad.
Amarillo, another one of those places. Another town. Isn't that the place that has a 72-ounce steak, or is that Lubbock?
No, that's Amarillo right there on I-40.
Yeah, I've never actually tried it, but I've been there. There must be an Air Force base nearby, because the several times that I've been there as I was traveling on I-40, it was always a bunch of Air Force guys coming in, and one of them, killing themselves trying to eat the 72-ounce steak. So. Yeah.
There used to be a big Air Force base there in Amarillo.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but it's long gone. But they probably are traveling to and from who knows where. But I had an observation when we were talking a few minutes ago about the little girl from India.
Yeah.
And all she had was the poem and a map
of the Rocky Mountains.
Of the Rocky Mountains. Knowing Forrest and the way that he uses Fenn talk, he a lot of times will synonymously use the poem in the book. In other words, the way he thinks is, if you've got the poem, the little girl from India has the poem, the only way she's going to get the poem is if she has the book.
If she has the book. I agree with you. So, I agree. I know it's theoretical, but I tend to agree with you.
So it's kind of one of those Fenn talk things. You kind of take it with a grain of sand, and we can go down that rabbit hole if we want to, but just kind of using his intellect and the way he thinks and speaks. If he says that all you need is the poem, well, the only way hypothetically you could have the poem is if you had the book. Speaking of the little girl in India.
Right.
So I take that with a grain of sand. I mean, it's one of those things that it could go either way.
I like the idea, and I think you're right about Fenn. I think when he refers to the poem, he's referring to it in the context of the book, and here's why. Here's why I think that. I think the thrill of the chase is not as much a memoir, although Shelley has showed me, of course, where it says a memoir. I think the thrill of the chase is not as much a memoir as it is a vessel for the poem.
Yeah,
and
exactly. That's why there's not a title to the poem.
Right, exactly. And that Too Far to Walk is the memoir that was written when he didn't have to worry about having a poem, a vessel for the poem.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
Oh, good. Great.
It's just a place to put the poem, and the only way to put the poem in context is to have it in the book.
Right, exactly. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
It's always been my feeling on the matter. So I do want to talk to you about what we've been talking about. And I think a good day to do that is Thursday. And the reason is we've got shows all day tomorrow. Of course, we're doing 3 shows tomorrow.
Okay.
But I can give you a call on Thursday, and then we can talk about it then and work out the
Sure.
details. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I will. I'll look forward to your phone call.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I think Shelley,
All right.
I'll get Shelley in on the call as well.
Okay.
Sarah's doing
Great.
okay?
She's doing fine. She was feeling a little tired. She
Oh.
retired to the bedroom
Yeah.
a few minutes ago, and thought I'd stay up and give you a jingle.
Well, I'm glad that
And
you
wish
did.
you all a happy new year and a prosperous one at that.
We're looking forward to it. It should be an interesting one at the very minimum, I think.
Well, we will talk to you Thursday then.
I look forward to it. You have a good evening,
You do the same.
and best wishes for the new year to Sarah.
All right, I'll make sure I tell her.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And always hesitating, kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire.
You know, I haven't two-stepped in probably... When was the last time I two-stepped? Probably when we were in Texas. That was... it's been a long time. So that would have been when I got back from Vietnam. So it was probably the last time I two-stepped, but I can two-step. Three minutes to go to 2020.
With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat, this bittersweet heat is suffocating.
Phone lines are open. Let's talk.
And always hesitating, kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
I used to be able to do, the girls got me into the electric side. The thing that I haven't been able to do are the country and western versions of the line dances, and it's because I haven't spent enough time. I think I was at a place one night where they were teaching the folks how to line dance, and just wasn't there long enough to pick it up all. They're okay. I like being with another person on the phone. 'em. So if you're drinking, make a comment. Tell me what you're drinking tonight. I'll put down what I'm drinking.
To the start of intoxicating wine. Linger and touch, these soft words whispered in the dark. Set my heart afire.
Quick, send me a text. Oh, wow. That's that amethyst that Tony was talking about for my daughter, Toby Renee. That looks like that would be danged interesting. That'd be a great Document where the chest is not. Greg. Yeah, Greg, I've done that 34 times now. I've had a lot of documentaries on where the chest is not. Let's see. Oh, cool. Somebody has said Happy New Year's. I haven't read the Happy New Year. Thank you. Let me see. From. Oh, these are. We're going to read these comments tomorrow. Happy New Year. 3, 4, hey! Rum and Coke. I like rum and Cokes. I like the occasional rum and Coke. I'm drinking, what is it? Blue Joe. That's not it. Let me just spell it in Chinese first. Hang on. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. It's pronounced Huzhou Lao Jiao, Chinese. Fermented from, what did I say? Sapka? Sphagnum. Coconut rum and Coke. Yum, that sounds good. I went through a daiquiri phase. I was hung up on Ernest Hemingway, and he was a daiquiri guy. So I did that for a while. But rum and Coke every once in a while with a squeeze of lime is nice. It's very refreshing. Rich, yeah, this is it, Rich. You're spending your New Year's Eve watching Toby lit, as Sassy says, and Gopher dance instead of celebrating New Year's. This is your New Year's. What does it come to? Hey, Tony, is the chain gold as well? Not gold filled, but gold as well as the fitting? We need to talk. So Greg wanted me to share this with the room. He says, I can't take my dog. I can't take my dog to the pond anymore because the ducks keep attacking him. That's what I get for buying a purebred dog. It was his joke. You guys should be dancing. We got some great music. You guys should be dancing. There's nothing better than dancing. Ask the Magical Treasure Princess. She's always dancing and singing. She's always dancing and singing. That woman is perennially happy. So Toby is a location on the Cimarron River, the Cimarron Canyon on I-64. There's a campground called Toby, but if you go to the area called Clear Creek, it's a creek that comes in from the south into the Cimarron River. You look up Reverend Toby and Clear Creek. It's an interesting story of the American West. So this music is all, the reason I can use it is because it's all YouTube music. So I don't have to worry about copyright issues. I put the Beatles on here, and goodbye copyright. I mean, goodbye monetization. I don't know. Does Fenn know how to dance? He doesn't look like a dancer guy to me. He looks like he's too serious a guy to be a dancer. But on the other hand, Peggy does look like she enjoys dancing. So I'm sure there was a time where they danced together. You know. "21 minutes and 52 seconds. My dad did dance, and my mother loved to dance with him. They were great together. All right, here we go. We've got 20 minutes and 33 seconds left. So what I'd like you all to do is in the comments in the chat room, put down your number one 2020 New Year's resolution. Tell me what it is. Colorado. Hey, Happy New Year's. What's your name? Hello. Hello. Hello, Colorado. Can you hear me? Oh, you know what? I unplugged you. Hang on. Ah! Okay. Colorado? No. It's not you. Hang on just a second. You know what I did is I went to unplug it. Hold on. Give me a second. Don't go away.
No problem.
Let me see. Let's see. What I want to do is I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to... Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Good. No, what happened was I had this plugged in with a hard line. Hold on. Let me get you off speaker. Yeah. I had this plugged in on a hard line, and when I pulled it out, when I pulled a hard line out, we lost the audio. My fault. Had to Bluetooth it. How are you doing? Who is this?
This is Che in Colorado.
Che.
I'm the one with shots. Yeah.
Yeah, the puppy.
My name means grandfather in Navajo.
Oh, I thought it was like Che as in Che Guevara.
Yeah, that's who I was named after.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I asked my mom why she named me after him, and she just said that he was good looking.
Well, he was good looking, but he was I was
like, oh, okay.
He had his issues. There's a great movie called The Motorcycle Diaries. Actually, I read the book before I saw the movie, but it's called The Motorcycle Diaries.
Oh yeah.
And it's about his period where he kind of radicalized by traveling through South America with his friend on a motorcycle that was just barely survived the trip. It fell apart every chance to get. But it's a damn interesting story.
Yeah, Ernesto.
Yeah, and Ernesto Guevara. That's
yep,
right.
I've seen them all.
Yeah, Ernesto Guevara. Yeah, he was Argentinian to begin with, but then he radicalized and he went to Cuba. So yeah, you were named after a very famous person. Yeah,
and I still to this day don't, good looking is not good enough answer for me.
yeah, it's not the kind of thing. Yeah, I think you're better off saying, I was named after a famous Navajo code talker or something like that, because sooner or later you're going to bump into someone who doesn't know Che Guevara in the historical way that I do. They're just going to think of him as a, nasty communist.
Well, I think if you ask a Navajo person or mention my name around someone that's Navajo, they'll recognize my name's grandfather.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, because that's what Shush, that's what my grandson calls me. He's half Navajo, and so he calls me Che.
Okay. Yeah.
Che, Toby.
So I've discovered something in regards to the forest, to the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Recently, and I just wanted to run it by you and see what you thought about it. I found out recently that Forrest Fenn's wife Peggy, and I found this through. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Hoosier sisters.
I am. Yeah, they're friends.
They have some. Yeah, they have some audio recordings on there that I came across. That were recorded in 1968.
Right.
And he's talking to a guy named Bill, and I'm not sure who he's talking to exactly, but from what I gather from listening to the recordings, is they're exchanging tapes back and forth.
I don't know if they actually exchanged them. He was still in Vietnam, and he was sending tapes to a friend of his that lived in, I think it was Texas. Bill is a friend of his. And they're back, having been there, one of the ways that you communicated with family rather than writing letters is you'd make a tape and send them to them. And that's kind of how I did it that way. And I know a lot of my friends did. We all had those, we could get those cassette tape recorders at a relatively inexpensive price, make the recordings and send them home, and then our families would return them. So that was not unusual, but he did that. But if I remember listening to a couple of tapes, they had to do more with business, kind of his ideas on business or art. What were they primarily? It's been a long time since I've heard them.
Actually, the one in particular, it was they were talking about archaeological locations.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
In Texas.
Yeah.
And in one of these interviews, he was talking, and he said that his wife Peggy's sister, or basically Peggy's great aunt, was married to George R. Brown of Houston, Texas, which is the same Brown of Brown and Root, which sold out to Halliburton years later and everything. Yeah. They also put up the George R. Brown Conservation Center in Texas. And the man also graduated from the Colorado School of Mines. He had a degree in engineering and mining. And I'm wondering if that isn't the same Brown that's mentioned in the poem.
Well, so there's, so we know it's a proper noun, right? And there's a very good possibility that the proper noun refers to an individual, but the home of Brown refers to a place. So the question you have to ask yourself, so you said the Colorado School of Mines. That's not really. Where's the School of Mines? And there's actually
the Brown Hall is named after him.
Where's the School of Mines in Colorado?
Colorado School of Mines is in Golden, Colorado.
Oh, in Golden. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how do you translate? And I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I'm not saying, oh, that's crazy. That's as logical as anything, because you can find it with a reasonable amount of research. You can identify it as being in Colorado. You can locate the fact that he was in Colorado. The question is, then what is the home of Brown? So did he have a specialty? Yeah. Did he ever write any papers that indicated his specialty in geology?
Well, not that I'm aware of. I haven't come across anything yet. However, George R. Brown did move to Butte, Montana, where he did some mine work, ended up getting hurt in the mine, and then moved back down into Houston, and that's when they started the Brown and Root Company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just some interesting information that I came across. It was kind of like an aha type moment. I wasn't sure if it was too
It's more than interesting in that there is a connection between the proper noun Brown. Brown, George Brown's name would be a proper name. Brown is the last name.
Yep.
The question is, how do you translate what then? Because we know. So one of the rules that we stick to when we're talking about the representations of the clues in the poem is we use something called triple L, and the triple L stands for long-lived landmark, right? So each clue in the poem can be represented on the surface of the earth with a long-lived landmark. So the question you have to figure out, if you haven't already, and I'm not asking you to tell me that, the question is, what is the long-lived landmark that represents the quote, home of Brown, unquote, if Brown refers to George Brown?
That's a good question.
That you figure out the answer to that question.
Good question, and that's good.
And you've made some headway into this poem. That's the question. The question is, what is the? And it has to be.
Add one more thing.
Go ahead.
George Rufus Brown's wife's name was Alice. Peggy's great aunt is named Alice Brown. Which kind of took me back to the Alice in Wonderland type stuff, because he mentioned knowing all those poems by heart, and pretty interesting stuff. Kind of gave me a second wind.
Well, like I said, the next step is figuring out what long-lived landmark can be represented by a connection to George R. Brown.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, Toby, all the ones that I'm coming with are upside down.
Well, the Brown Hall in Colorado, although I know Golden well enough to know, there's a lot of streams that flow through there, but I don't know. So I think if I had the same...
Clear Creek runs right by the Colorado School of Mines. Also, Bear Creek runs through there. We got the Platte River.
Yeah, that's where all that water for the Coors factory comes from. Is that all that?
Yeah, that comes out of Clear Creek.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, it would be, I think the next step is to see if George R. Brown had a specialty that, so I have a friend who's a doctor, he's a geologist, but his specialty is polarizing mineral images. That's his specialty. He writes papers on it. He has entries in journal in it. He's a geologist. He's a major. He has a PhD, actually. He's got a minor, I'm sorry, he's got an undergraduate degree in geology. He's got a master's in geology, and he's got a PhD in microscopy. And so his specialty is, and the papers that he writes for the journals, is the polarization of geologic samples, right? The slices that they use.
So that would be an essay, right?
Well, I don't know, but that's what he's known for, because as you develop your PhD, the reason you end up a PhD is because you have a specific interest in a topical area that you probably documented in your master's thesis, and that will eventually appear as your PhD thesis in some related journal. So the question is, how far did he get, and what papers did he indicated his specialty, if he ever wrote them? I don't know if he got a master's. He might just be an undergraduate and didn't have to write any papers. But did he ever publish in a journal indicating what specialty is? Because that might lead you to the home of Brown.
Could be. Very good information.
Well, it's interesting, at least. And
it's all good information until it's found.
Right. It's all good information.
And
it's certainly a track that you want to take, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
He says if you don't have where warm waters halt, you don't have anything. Agreed.
I agree with that. But the impression that I get is you do have a scent. He says that when the treasure is found, it's going to be found by an individual who will go with confidence. And what I think he means by that is that individual will not only have the location of where warm waters halt specifically, his starting point, but that he will have a good sense of the long-lived landmarks that represent each of the other metaphors and the clues, right? He may not have seen them. He may not even know where to look for them, but at least he knows what to look for. And so, although identifying the home of Brown isn't necessarily going to get you any closer to the treasure, because you still have to have a starting point and you have to know where to go after that, if you could kind of figure out what is represented by the home of Brown. He was once doing an interview, and the interviewer said, well, could you tell me at least where the home of Brown is? And his response was, if I told you that, you'd go straight to the treasure. So there's something about that whole home of Brown thing that must mean something.
For sure. I was stuck on it for a while.
Yeah.
Thinking Molly Brown, home of Brown. Started calling it the House of Brown, and then I got corrected really fast.
Don't call it the House of Brown. That'll start a war right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Toby, I appreciate your time. Happy New Year's.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in, and happy New Year to you. I hope you have a healthy, happy, and prosperous 2020.
Oh, I hope so too. It's 2020. It's the year of information.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. Yeah.
Good night, sir.
All right.
Have a great one.
Good night. You too. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the phone so we can do our countdown. So, Tony, the only problem is that thing looks like it's going to appraise at a couple $1,000. Everybody dance. Okay, how am I going to do this? We're going to turn that off. And then on there. Okay. I'm going to go here. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Sassy, I do. Few minutes. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to screenshot. And I've got this when we get to 60 seconds. And I got all lengths out when we get there. So let me see if I can... There we go. Okay. 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year, Searcher friends, Searcher brothers and sisters. I hope you have a great, a prosperous, a healthy, and a happy New Year's. Here's to all of you. The decade of sand. You know it, Marty Bird. Ah, stop. WFG, Happy New Year's to you, brother. Oh, wait, Sassy, I've got one to sing along with. Here, just give me a minute. I'll sing with you. Happy New Year's, Ether Man. Kirsten L, Happy New Year's. Ellen K, Happy New Year's. Aha Moment, Happy New Year's. Amanda Truax, Happy New Year's. Marty Bird, Happy New Year's. Belva Jenkins, Happy New Year's. Denise, Happy New Year's. Colorado, Happy New Year's to you and Sarah. Miss Lisa, Happy New Year's. JK, Happy New Year, sir. It's the year of sand. So here, I've got one more out of the audio library. Let's take advantage here. I liked this one. Got that jazz feel to it.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne?
Happy New Year, Wayne.
For old lang syne, my dear, for old
Happy New Year, Captain Marvel.
we'll take a cup of kindness yet for
Laddie Addy, Happy New Year, brother.
old lang syne. And
Happy New Year to
surely
those of us in the Rocky Mountains and the Four Treasure States.
and surely I'll buy a mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for
Thank you, Ellen K. Thank you for that. First super chat of 2020. Thank you. Good lip sync, Toby. Thank you. All right. I think let's finish it out with. Let's see. Let's do this jazz version. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time to call it a night. Thank you very much for spending New Year's with me. I'm glad that I could spend it with my friends, and I'm sure the Magical Treasure Princess feels the same way. I'm glad you were all here, and like I said before, I hope your 2020 and the entire decade is filled with happiness and good health and prosperity, and sooner or later one of us is going to find that dadgum treasure, aren't we? Kirsten L., you're welcome, and thanks for joining us tonight. Enjoyed your company. Miss Lisa, good night. We'll see you on Thursday in the Member Vault. Amanda Truax, Above and Beyond. Thank you very much, and we are very grateful for that super chat, the second of the new year of 2020, and thank you very much. We really love what we do. We love that you guys are here to share the experience with us. We're glad to have you here tonight, and again, thank you very much for that contribution to our project. Good night and Happy New Year, brothers and sisters.